RWBY Chibi Season 2, Episode 19, Steals and Wheels. This was definitely a funny episode. I really enjoyed, especially the middle skit with Roman and Neo. I thought that was probably my favorite one. I just thought it was really cool. It was almost like, three little skits in one because they were doing the different little things. But I think all three of these were definitely funny. Really enjoyed the first one with Neptune telling Yang that she was a tomboy, which I'm kind of surprised that would even make Yang mad. I would think, as cool as Yang is, who cares, what other people think. I was very surprised, actually, but it's also the chibi version of the show. But, man, he pissed her off, but it was really funny. Like, he's going down the list, and, he says, like, look at RWBY, she's always trying to help people, and she's freaking out, like, I can make a cake if anybody wants cake. Weiss was no help. She's just like, yeah, I'm better than you, and that's Weiss. Nora was being so, it was like, the way she just boosts people on the nose, it's just adorable. It's like, you are not being adorable at all. I love the fact that he, in the beginning, said you're uncouth, because I say that all the time, just to mess with my girlfriend. But I thought that was really funny. And of course, he got the crap punched out of him. Yeah, deservedly so. And I love the fact that Yang was just like, boop, just an angry boop. So I love that for sure. The second skit with Roman and Neo doing, like, their weird businesses, the different little, like, evil genius plan businesses. And it starts with the Torchquake energy drink, which I love that one. And on they have like fine print where it says, like, the Surgeon General says, like, this is it says on the bottom, like, you can read the whole thing, there's like actually two different parts to it, and it says it's like a level 5 biochemical hazard and stuff like that. And then it starts to go on, and it's actually Roman's words, and he's like, yeah, besides that, Surgeon General was really stupid. And it's like, see, I told you, Neil, nobody's ever reads the fine print and stuff like that. So it's actually really funny if you, like, didn't actually read the fine print. There's actually some really funny stuff in that. So I really enjoyed that. Everyone vomiting except for Crow, I thought made a lot of sense. Like, it could be poison, and he's just like, whatever. Like, it was nothing to him, so I love that. Of course, him having the little car shop, I guess, the Steals and Wheels, based on the episode, or that's what the episode is named after. I love that. Yang walks in behind him, and excuse me, she hops on the motorcycle, which I love the fact that everything looked like it was rusted. It didn't look like anything was built anywhere. Everything was just like gray and white, and I was like, it's kind of funny that, like, there's everything that's here is just like they just threw some metal together and it's like, yeah, it's done. So of course she gets on it, it just completely falls apart, and then it cuts to the last one, which is, I think it was his last name, so it had to be Torchwick and Neapolitan, attorneys at law. And that had some fine print that was pretty funny too, because it was like not licensed in Atlas or the other three kingdoms. And I just thought that was actually really, really cool. So it was just like a funny little thing. So really enjoyed the second one. And then, of course, the third skit focusing on Jaune and his going rogue, as he thought, which was just really silly. And, of course, we have our junior detectives, and it was mostly them just chasing him down to try to help him out. But, of course, they were doing the junior detective thing, like, freeze, we're here to help. So he's running all over the place, freaking out. He goes to RWBY, and she's just like, don't really understand anything that's happening, but sure. And then he takes off to Ren, and he wants to go by Felipe. So I love the way they did that, and he's packing everything up, and he throws Zwei into the bag. And then I love the part when he jumped out the window, and Ren was just like, was I supposed to tie that to something? And then, of course, he falls to the ground and hurts himself. But really silly way to end it out, where he's just on the run this whole time, and ultimately the guys are just trying to give him his wallet back. So it's really silly, but simple little thing. I really enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I really enjoyed the middle one the most. I guess because like I said, it was almost 3 skits in one, so there's a lot to like in all 3 of those. I really like the first one the most. I did like the last one too, though, because it really did look like a lawyer commercial. Like, it was really funny to me because they were just sitting down at a table, and it was like they're in the library, so it's just like a million useless books behind them, and I'm like, every attorney commercial looks exactly like that. And it really made me laugh, because I'm like, that's exactly what all those commercials look like. It's like, were you injured by this? And then there's just a big old bookshelf behind them with a bunch of books in it. And I'm like, that's what all those do look like. And it was just really funny to me, because I was like, that's 100% accurate. So I like that one too. But I really like the first one the most out of the Roman Neo evil genius ideas. But enjoyed this episode in general. Definitely thought it was funny. Excited for the next episode, and that's constantly, getting closer and closer to the ending. Something that I wanted to mention for people who may or may not be able to participate is that there is going to be a Fathom Events showing for the premiere of the newest volume coming out, and it's supposed to be the first episode plus some behind the scenes stuff, and then some select stuff from volume 4 as well. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll put some info in the description so you guys can just follow the link. I think it's like $16 or something like that. So If I can, I'll do it if I actually have the money. But I just thought it was cool. I've constantly tried to go to Fathom events because they always happen in my area. The very first time it happened, not enough people paid for it, so it didn't end up actually happening here. And I think that was when they were doing, that may have just been like the very first volume, I think. And it was just like, here's all of volume 1, basically as a movie. And I was like, I would love to see that. That would be really, really cool. And I bought a ticket and it was like, yeah, sorry, not enough people paid for it. So I got my refund, but I was like, man, I really wanted to go to that. And the same thing happened with volume 2. And I was like, man, nobody's buying these tickets. So hopefully it happens this time as well. I have to see. Every time it happens, I try to like spread it on my social media. Like, hey, I know a lot of people that live in the area that like this. Please go so I can see RWBY in the theaters. But if you guys have the opportunity, definitely check it out. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description so you guys can see that and see if you're actually interested. Because like I said, it's not just the first episode, which who knows how long that'll really be. You know, 10, 15 minutes. And I think it's like in total like an hour and a half long event. So it's like, you know, you have to decide if you really care that much. So it's up to you. But I'll have a link in the description so you guys can follow that and check it out and see if there are actually theaters in your area showing it off. But I wanted to put that out there for anyone who may not have heard the news just yet. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And of course, we're getting closer and closer to the ending. And this episode, I think, did something pretty cool with the idea of almost 3 skits within a skit. And I would love to know which characters you guys would like to see do, not exactly that sort of thing, but basically just have like weird money-making schemes, even if that, you know, that was of course supposed to be the villains having like an evil genius plan. I would love to know which characters you guys would like to see have like basically really silly little businesses kind of pop up in the Chibi shows, because I think they could do that really well. And I almost think if they did something with like the junior detectives, it's like Sun and Neptune basically tried to make their own cop business or something. I would kind of like to see that. And they've kind of poked fun at that a little bit. They did like the noir thing a few weeks back. And then in the last episode, Pyrrha and Nora coming in, it was kind of the same thing, them just joining as new detectives. But I'd like to see that if they tried to make like their own official detective business, or like we're no longer junior detectives, we're like official owners of a detective agency or something like that. I think that could be really silly. So I would love to know what random characters you guys would like to see come up with really silly businesses, and if you guys have any ideas, we'd love to read those as well. But like I said, we'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.